right rear tires, and we've lowered the air pressure on a number of cars. It seems to be helping. What's happening, they're blistering slightly, but it's not affecting. Nobody's had to stop early. We just had punctures on the 33 and the 18 car in that last accident, but I think we're okay for the rest of the race.
Okay, that's the story from the Goodyear side. Let's go to Jack.
Well, Gary, they're going to take advantage of this caution period. The Patrick team has called in Scott Pruitt as we listen on the scanner as well. Now, watch the crewmen at the front of the car. Once they've completed the exchange, they'll go to the nose, make a turn. They're going to take the wing out. That was the amount of wing that they put in the last stop, and he almost stalls it. Boy, was that close, guys.
Well, that could be costly. They'd have to pull the car back, restart it. Too costly, Jack.
Well, Scooter got it out of the pits, though. You know, there's some good news here. We've got some great physicians that work on the circuit with us. Dr. Terry Trammell and Dr. Steve Alvey were recognized and, in fact, honored by the National Athletic Association, NATA, in June for their contributions to athletic training and motorsports medicine. Dr. Alvey was inducted as an honorary member of NATA for his contributions, and Dr. Trammell was presented with the prestigious President's Challenge Cup Award, presented each year to a physician that's made a significant impact in sports medicine and in athletic training. We're very proud of both of them and thankful for the good service that they give all the drivers and crews here in IndyCar.
Well,
one of the interesting things about the coverage, too, while we stay under this yellow, is the international coverage. This goes from these satellites up globally and in many, many different languages.
Bem-vindo às 500 milhas de Michigan, apresentado por Speedstick.
Добро пожаловать на 500-мильную гонку в Мичигане, которую представляет фирма Speedstick.
Bienvenidos a la carrera de Michigan 500, presentada por Speedstick.
And we welcome you, too, to the Michigan 500 presented by Speedstick. ESPN International sending those signals all over the world. So it is a full course caution, the only way they do it on an oval. And look back there behind the grandstand as we push in. That's the TV compound where they control this race from. Look at all those trucks and look at all those satellite dishes.
all fully air conditioned down there. Incredible comfort, of course, everybody works in.
Sam, it's air conditioned where we sit too, and it isn't too bad right
It sure
here.
isn't on the stands. You see the people sweltering on the lower right of that screen.
Biggest crowd we've seen in a long time.
So as we ride with Stefan Johansson, we remind you that in 2 weeks there is more IndyCar action here on ABC as the IndyCar's best head off to the road course at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Defending champion Al Unser Jr. challenges the field at the Miller Genuine Draft 200. That's Sunday, August 13th here on ABC Sports. Hero had a problem. Gary, he's with you?
He is indeed. Hero, are you all right? I saw them taping your wrist here. Was there any injury at all or any physical problems?
No, I'm okay. Just taping for wrist, protect wrist.
Now, what happened with that rear tire? Was it a puncture and get into the under tray or the underwing?
I believe it's the tire got a puncture. It's happened coming out from the town hall. I was super lucky.
Well, indeed you were. We're glad you're all right. The best part of this day for Hero right now is the fact that he's standing right here by the ice. He's about to dive into it. I wish I could, too. Let's go back to Paul.
Yeah, stay out of there, Gary. It belongs to him. Parker Johnstone, after he's out of the race, has been kind enough to join us on a headset, can watch the coverage here as well. Parker, we've seen these problems with the right rears. What do you think's happening there?
Well, Paul, I'm very surprised. We did a lot of testing down in Texas World Speedway and also in Michigan prior to this race in 95 to 100 degree heat. We had a problem with one upright very early on in our testing. We corrected that problem, and I'm very surprised to see the failures we're seeing today on these Renards.
Well, we should head back to green flag at the conclusion of this lap, so stay with us, Parker, and jump in any time if you would. Al Unser Jr. will lead Scott Pruitt and Eddie Cheever to the green. Well, Cheever is staying in this thing. AJ's playing some tactics here today. Back up to full speed.
And keep in mind, little Al had about a 20-second lead. Now they're all closed up on him.
Parker, look at those guys. Can you believe you were out there with them just a few minutes ago?
Well, I tell you, once you get in the car, the whole world changes, and as well as the track's holding up today, and as good as our Motorola Sailor car was, we could drive low, middle, high. Those guys are having a great time out there, but they're also balancing the risk every single lap with potential gain or loss.
So now the field spreads out. Al Unser Jr., Scott Pruitt are the fight at the front. Eddie Cheever there as well. Go on board with Adrian Fernandez. He runs in 4th place. Plenty of traffic ahead.
Everybody except the guys in the front are really picking up a big draft right now.
We'll just ride with Adrian. Parker, you were the fastest guy here all day. Why don't you take us around for a lap? What are you thinking at these points?
Well, right now, I can tell you, Adrian's looking at Christian Fittipaldi, wondering if he's going to come down on him or give him some room. And as you can see, there was enough of a wash off of Christian's car that Adrian had to get out of the throttle there. He's going to have to time his run a little bit better, because if you don't get a good run at the appropriate time, he's going to be stuck in this group and not be able to get through it.
They're both picking up a draft from the guys clear up in front. We've got a big whirlwind going on around there now. Once the cars all get going together, kind of makes it like a little whirlwind going.
Adrian's going to give it another try here, but once again, he's going to get shut off by Christian. What he needs to do is get a little stronger run off him out of turn 2 and go inside hard, even down onto the apron, to make Christian realize that he's serious about getting by there.
And Parker, as good as these onboard cameras are, does this really show you what the banking is like here?
You know, I was really surprised. We were here testing a month ago, and I took my mountain bike up just to take a ride around the track, and you can't believe how steep it is in turns 1 and 2. I mean, it's a serious hard pedal up to the top, and when you're in the car, it seems like it's nearly flat.
We're going to move around here and pick up Bobby Rahal, who runs in 14th place as he comes under Teo Fabi, who started alongside Parker in the front row. Parker, we understand from starting that you can handle the heat because you're tough and from Oregon, but what about the rest of these guys? How bad was it out there?
Well, I do a lot of training for triathlons. I don't actually compete because my team owners don't want me to get hurt, but you'd be amazed at the number of physical fitness programs and careful diets that every one of these drivers are on. There's only 1 or 2 that don't adhere to some sort of strict daily training. And I've got to mention while we're on board here with Bobby Rahal that I could hear the cheer from the Honda pits when I drafted by Bobby the first time around past start finish. And it's one of those things. Bobby did a great job for Honda, but just couldn't hold on. And I've talked to Bob recently, and he really wants to come back.
And there goes Adrian Fernandez. You were just on board with him a few moments ago as he sails past Bobby Rahal. 162 laps complete.
Parker, you talk about the fitness. I know that tests made with drivers have seen that their heart rate goes up about triple or even more what it is at rest. Are you ever aware of that when you're driving?
Well, I actually wore a heart rate monitor during a test not too long ago. My resting heartbeat right now is 42 beats a minute. My maximum is just over 200. And it's very interesting. Prior to the start of the test, my heart rate was actually higher than when I was actually driving. And I think, like any aerobic athlete, I think what you find with these drivers is that on restarts or the start of the race, their heart rate's probably pretty elevated, but now they're back into some sort of nice pace.
Oh, Parker, here's a problem. Eddie Cheever was running third, slowing down. It's only been 11 laps since his last stop. Gary Gerald, you're there with AJ. Watch out.
AJ is talking on the radio. The headset has come out. What's the problem, AJ?
I don't know. Something happened, I guess, to the motor or drive gear. We won't know till he gets here.
I'll tell you what. I know you'd been frustrated because this season had turned around from such a successful early start. Things were going very well up to this point today.
Well, things are going good, but I guess something happened to the gearbox. I have no idea.
All right. Well, you can hear the disappointment in his voice as he steps to the wall, and here comes Cheever. We told you last week as Eddie throws the steering wheel that AJ was going to go test for the Brickyard 400. He did test on Monday. We don't know for sure if he'll try to enter that race or not. We suspect he will. And look at the body language now from Eddie Cheever as he just bangs that fist in frustration. He knew he had a good race car today and a great chance at a 500-mile win.
And look at the shield on his helmet, how tethered that is from the air. That gives you an idea how much wind beating they take out there.
So Eddie Cheever, after a terrific run for A.J. Foyt, showed that he was back and ready to fight once again. Climbs out of the car. Al Unser Jr. is still leading. We'll be back after these messages. And a word from our AV has been steadily closing between Scott Pruitt and Al Unser Jr., the leader. And now it is a fight for the lead as Scott Pruitt tries to overhaul him on the high side. 171 laps of the 250 are complete. Scott Pruitt has been able to chase down Al Unser Jr. Let's watch and let's listen to the two-way radio. Johnstone, you continue to watch. This is a super little duel. Scooter really moved up on him.
He really did, and what you're seeing is a classic drafting duel, just like we've seen in stock cars recently. And this is, now that they've resurfaced as MIS, what a great place, what a great battle. Scotty's going high, Al's got the low line. This is going to be a real race of strategy between these two.
Well, looking at this onboard camera, when do you begin to feel the vacuum behind the car ahead of you?
Scott's definitely got it now. He's just got to get his timing right so that he can pull up at Little Al at just the right time to duck underneath him, either at the entry of 1 or turn 3. He's definitely got the toe now, and if he times this right, he might be able to get in underneath him.
Scott tries to get him high. Again, he just doesn't have enough to do it. Can he get him coming off of the corner? Now still tucked in. We'll continue to watch this battle for you. A year ago here, Eddie Cheever started driving for A.J. Foyt. He almost had one wrapped up for him today, Gary.
Yeah, the vacant look in the eyes, I think, really tells the tale. We keep an eye on that battle up front. And, Eddie, I know you felt like you had both Pruitt and Unser covered. You thought you could surpass them.
I think my car was probably the best one out there in traffic. It was running very well. I'm bitterly disappointed. I think something went wrong in the drivetrain in the back, but it was a heck of a race. And my compliments go to Penske for repaving this place. It's a lot of fun to race here now.
I know it's been tough in recent weeks. There have been a lot of disappointments for you and this team, and this looked like it was going to be a real bright spot.
I thought I had probably the best chance of anybody out there to win the race, but we didn't. Again, thank you.
It's Eddie Cheever.
Remember Pruitt's pursuit of the lead at Indianapolis. And
boy, look at it here, though. Scott Pruitt tries it low and takes the lead.
Whoa.
Scott Pruitt out in front. Boy, and he really, the draft worked there.
It really did. You saw what Scott had to do is he had to drop way back to get another run on Al because he had lost his momentum, and he timed it just perfectly, used the draft, went right by him, and I'm sure now we'll see Scott pull out from Little Al.
Happy Pat Patrick there.
Well, you can see the smile on Pat Patrick's face, but what you're seeing right now, you're seeing the guys run their racing gears opposed to their overdrive gears. And Penske probably had told Little Al to eat
Whoa, look at this. Back. As they get caught up behind the slower car of Brian Herta, who is not in the battle, and Little Al tries to make the move.
Almost had him captured there.
Well, there's where momentum just pays off.
Whoa, and one car in trouble. This is Salazar, and it is yellow. And you heard Jimmy McGee scream pit to Scott Pruitt. Boy, a gentle kiss of the wall.
And you can see water running out from under that car right there. Look at the number 7, the water running down. Probably water, not fuel. It's probably what caused him to spin. Probably broke a radiator or a hose or something like that.
So here is Scott Pruitt in. Tires look good, off and on. And Al Unser Jr. has already been in and out of the Penske pits.
Well, here's the deal on Scott Pruitt, guys. This is not what they wanted to see. They had hoped to push the window to lap 196 with the idea in mind that they could then go with one final stop in the waning moments for just a couple of gallons of fuel. The window for Pruitt had only opened up 3 laps before that. So now if you heard him say go 7 o'clock on the fuel, there's a reason for that.